What's good, YouTube? And welcome to one of the wildest buyouts in a long time. Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon Ultra Rare has passed the price of the Ghost Rare for now on TCG Player. Now, I've asked my Discord and Twitter what's the reason for this buyout, and nobody can really seem to figure it out. Blue Eyes, maybe? Whitewood, it could be, but not really. Oh, Battle Wasp, their wind. Oh, no. Insect Lock. It doesn't seem to really make sense to any of us, so if you know, let me know in the comment section down below, because that would help a ton. But seeing this, where it's $26, $29-ish versus the Ghost that's at 25 is ridiculous. And even a sale at 20, so sales have not passed, but the listings have, and it's not going to really repopulate anytime soon unless vendors get on it, because nobody's opening Synchro Storm. Yeah, we look at this, 25, 27, 30 quickly, and a lot of sales in that $25 range somewhat recently. Actually, look at that activity here. So people are starting to go for the Ghost Rare, but the snapshot right here, these are kind of things what I live for and I find hilarious. And when we look at Legendary Dual Synchro Storm real quick before we talk about funny snapshots, yeah, that box ain't worth a lot, and this is the only thing in here, so it could just be one printing only and eating up a lot of that estimated value pulled because it's the only thing in there and going off of market after some time. But wild snapshot incoming. This Preparations of Right misprint appeared with Pokemon text embedded into it under the collector rare foil layer. You cannot recreate that even with a double transfer to get it to face the right way. It would take that, and even more interestingly, it comes from a Flamigo, which would be like an untextured card for what they found to be the text that is imprinted in this. Pulled out of a Target pack, absolutely wild from Rarity Collection to over 3,000 likes on this, but again, go check out that original Reddit post. Wild to see a Pokemon X Yu-Gi-Oh misprint. I don't think that's been done before, at least that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of misprints. Power Filter is up in price. This is really good against U-Bell decks, made an appearance at the WCQ, and we can see it's absolutely popping off. Kind of funny, GX era monsters on the card too, but the Super Rare is up, I think, towards $14, $15 about, yes, and the first edition not too much ahead of that, around 16, but not many of them there. And then the common even is towards $9 to $10 because people just want access to it, and it quickly goes up. So you might want to be looking through your bulk and picking these on out because people actually do want to play this one. I was thinking about Solemns on inboards, but I kind of figured it might be win more or you'd have to side it in. Scolding is one of the most powerful ones out there, and yeah, this card's actually gone up here recently, so let me know if it did appear at the WCQ and I missed it, or why it's getting bought out. But again, my player brain said this is kind of win more, but imagine some of these boards if they were backed by a Solemn when you know you're going first. This is 7, then 8 for the, I believe this is the Mega Pack version, yes, and then the OG is right around the same price for the Unlims, but the first editions have been bought out towards $13. This isn't the first time this card's been bought out. It's actually been many a time and just doesn't have many printings. Speaking of one printing cards, if you're a number hunter, you already have these. Number 13 Embodiment of Crime and number 31 Embodiment of Punishment are good for the Mimic deck, and that's about it. They've both gone up towards $15 and are actually starting to see those sales rates. Like, look at this, somebody spent 14, 17, 18. They're seeing sales towards that range, so that's kind of absolutely wild to me. These cards that most people considered bulk, unless they were number hunting, for the longest time sat at the same price, and they've gone up. Fire Sorcerer is also $5 for the Mimic archetype. I'd be selling this even though it's one printing out of LON. Flip randomly, select 2 cards from your hand and remove them from play, inflict 800 damage. I get there's win cons and stuff to be had here, but $5 for this, and the biggest anime moment was fighting for Taya in the Zork arc. I'd personally be letting it go, but hey, Mimic best deck news support coming, I guess. Future Silence feels like a really forced buyout to me. Now, we did see the Shining Sark get bought out, and that makes a bit more sense, and this does search it. It is the Rhoda, so I could see it going up, but not this crazily. When we look at the graph for this, check it out, like $16 was here, $12 here, really a ton of sales, but it could have been a couple of people forcing it, jumping all the way to 25, and here's Daily Grind TCG trying to make a buck. Hey, buy it for 14, please. I'll sell it cheaper over here. That's the hustle I like to see. 3 here, and that's where I think it would fall to, around $15 post buyout if it does stick. The question is, how are you going to keep momentum on this when the entire archetype already fell out once? It does feel like it's trying to be forced, or maybe a spotlight from somewhere more casual that isn't into Yu-Gi-Oh! Let me know if somebody's recently featured this where you go, I'm a believer, but I feel like it's more for fun, and casual doesn't mean broke. I figured this would go up a little more slowly than this, though, and this quick seems a bit much. Speaking of relevant cards right now, Molcharmy Perulia is down in price after the WCQ hype. That's why you don't always immediately jump and buy into hype, but then sometimes double down buyouts happen. This is largely overshadowed by the next Molcharmy coming, but we have a whole regional season for this, so it'll be interesting to watch. Available at $46 and $48, where people were snapping these up at $53, $52. You can scroll right back down here and see that movement, and yeah, it's kind of wild. The other reason why I say this is forced is the quarter century secret rare doesn't see much movement and is still around $40, by the way. So it does have that alternative higher rarity versus these pushing prices, and it doesn't make sense to buy this for 28 versus the quarter century secret rare at 40, especially since they've said no quarter century secret rare shall be reprinted. Mermail Abyss Trite, my player brain also doesn't agree with, because 3 level 3 monsters, there's a whole lot more you could do with these, so unless the new support is cheating this out and it becomes a better effect too, I still don't see the value. It has 1 printing for being a Mermail card. It reads, during either player's turn, when your opponent monster targets exactly 1 face-up Mermail monster you control for an attacker with a spell/trap effect that could have targeted this card, you can detach a material from this card. That attacker effect now targets this card, except during the damage step, so like the Chalice cards can't be transferred. So it's lukewarm target protection. I didn't even mean to do the water pun there. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 Mermail monster in your graveyard, special summon the target. Again, in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! For 3 materials here, I just personally can't get behind that this would be that valuable for the deck. Let me know if I'm wrong. Let me know if there's applications with the new cards. You're going to be doing this easy peasy lemon squeezy and then going up into Zeus or something, but $20 doesn't seem like it to me, but let me know if I'm wrong. I think the card that most attention is rightfully on is Neptibus, which has gone from when we last covered it $5 upwards towards $9. By the way, we pointed out that the graphs have seemingly been broken on TCG Player, and some of them are still fixing. But for example, some of them are completely fixed, and we can see there's a % change. So it seems like TCG Player is aware of the issue and is fixing some of those problems. Light and Darkness Dragon is a $5 common, and you can see it's continuing to go up over time. I covered this one, I think it was like 3 or 4, so just be aware this Chaz, for instance, card continues to go up. I believe it was Chaz in the manga. My boomer brain sometimes doesn't work that well, but I'm pretty sure that was Chaz related, and it's still a pretty cool past format card. I'm bringing up Crossout Designator again, specifically because of my comment section in the last video. This quarter century secret rare has had a good amount of movement, and with the graphs fixed, you can see that on the screen. It was all the way down towards 34, and with the WCQ, etc., from the 10th and going into that season, has gone up towards 44 from the 30s, and also you can see there's only 6 listings before it goes towards $50 here on the front page. That's only 2 playsets. So why am I so gung-ho on this card? Do I have a pile of them and I'm selling them? I don't buy modern cards. I own 0 Crossout Designators. I have 0 Rarity Collection 2 sealed, even though though I believe in the set. I have a sliver of pride where I like to be right sometimes, and guess what's on top of the set that I called would be on top of the set? Crossout Designator. However, I thought it would be longer. Banless Fears on not only Apollosa but Masquerena have dragged those cards down a bit, and the top two cards I was interested in, Droll and Crossout, are doing the best, but they're still under pre-sale prices where they were the only cards I was interested in. However, despite my self-interest in telling you to buy pre-sales and use code What'sGood5 for 5% off, with this set, I said the rest of the set I would ignore till it's out. The set will fall down and crash in the immediate, which I was right on. All the signs were there. It was a pretty easy call. And then I said I would be picking stuff up. However, the sets crashed even harder than I would have thought. I still think long term the set can be successful, but boy has it tumbled in the immediate. So I have this long comment from Beta Investments. Dude, what's up with you pushing Crossout Designator 25th quarter century secret rare? Every other video you mention it has barely moved anything, if at all. It has been the same price for weeks. Do you have interest in this card moving up? Reminds me of the time MCole40 was pushing Predator Practice for the longest time, and it eventually flopped and burned. You realize all the pros picked that up in a WCQ season, and then it got reprinted right going into that WCQ season, and actually was being played by like Pack and some of the best players in the game. But yeah, I've noticed when you tend to give a specific card exposure and those cards don't have any value at all, or haven't moved in any sort of way, kind of sus. Top of the set, we see movement. And specifically in this comment chain, I also tell this guy to scroll back because graphs were broken at the time and go to the 30th and go up 10 days, and that many of the sales are 35 to 38. And you can see almost every single sale in this range is within the 35 to 38 or lower range. And then the 10th, it starts to pick up a little, but a lot of these deals are still here. And then we stride into the WCQ season and a Tier 0 format that isn't truly Tier 0, but Fiendsmith is a pretty much strong Tier 1 engine, and that's why I believe in the card. It's part of my job to look at what's underestimated, what I think has upward movement, and also what I think is overvalued, bloated, or could have future, and point out these different problems they could have, and also ways they could see themselves be successful. The WCQ is not WCQ, that's a definite. The ban list is speculation whenever we're talking about hits, but a lot of people think Apollos is going to go, and that's why it's down faster than I thought it would be. I continue to list my reasons to him. I believe, and I found it underestimated. I like to be right. I have that sliver of pride where I get to say, hey, I was right on cards here and there. 38 to 48 is movement, and I tell him I have 0. You mention it like the past 15 videos, so suddenly it's every other video to that. Sus. Also, it's settled at 47 and is currently 45. No movement since release, according to TCG data. Again, I tell him, hey, graphs are broken, but now you can see on the graph here on screen plenty of movement. And I give him this range. He says the data is wrong, even though the data's here on screen. And I basically tell him to clear his filters and look at this. So, the Beta Investments. Again, the reason why I bring stuff like this up, and I haven't had a good old conspiracy about me on the Yu-Gi-Oh market and manipulating it in a while, I believe in the card, and now it's atop the set where it was not there before, and there is, where I'm seeing the ninja meme, plenty of movement on the card to have brought it up again, and also talk about why I was wrong at the first part and why I'm right now, not necessarily for the right reasons. Sometimes I'm right for the wrong reasons, and I'm down to own that too. Thanks for watching today's Yu-Gi-Oh! Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these conversations. I'm always down to mess around and look at stuff like that, but yeah, I like to be right because that's where I can give information and insight to you all, even when I'm not always right. We can look at that and why it went one way or another. And again, I'm totally down to own where I'm wrong. Droll's not where I thought it would be. It's definitely underperforming, but the whole set is not where I thought it would be. One card is, though.